done so. Thank you very much for being here. I'm sure all of you have a special interest in Ligonier Beach, just as all of us do. We hope to hear from you guys at the public comment section that will be coming up shortly. Before you are members of the Development Committee, Ligonier Township Manager, the EADS group, Ben Foss, and they have been chosen as the engineers for the township for 2020. At this time, I'll take a few minutes and have Terry Carcella, the Township Manager, introduce the committee members.
I don't know if this mic's working, but I'll maybe you can talk.
Yeah,
You can know we're fired up.
We'll start on this side over here. We have supervisors Scott Matson and Dan Weimer. We also have member Bob Gangware on the Recreation Committee. My staff member at the end, Bethany Caldwell. We have some members that are late coming or can't make it to this evening. On the other side over here, we have Ben Foss from the EADS group, Sheila Grimm from the Planning Commission, Mayor Butch Bellis from the Borough of Ligonier, Julie Donovan, who's a resident, and my other staff member, Tracy Project. Those are members who are present here right now. Larry?
those of us on the Ligonier Beach Committee are all volunteers. We have been appointed by the Ligonier Township Supervisors to study and to recommend ideas and plans for Ligonier Beach, plans for the historical significance of Ligonier Beach, and to perhaps redevelop the property for public use at the same time. The purpose of this meeting is twofold. One, to inform you of the current conditions of the pool, the buildings, and the property in general. And two, to seek ideas for the property's use. We provided a handout when you came in, and we would like to have each of you fill those out. We want to hear about your ideas and get some feedback from you. It's very, very significant that we do that. The Ligonier Beach is a very historic property dating back to about 1925. The township wants to make sure that the property is available for public use while retaining the historical significance of that property. Others in our community have the same goals. They have provided funding for the purchase of that property. The property was purchased with no Ligonier Township tax dollars. It was purchased through grants from the Catherine Mavis McKenna Foundation and from a grant from the PA Department of Natural Resources, or Conservation and Natural Resources. Further, the township has no intention of using township tax dollars to refurbish, rebuild, operate restaurants, bars, or the pool. The township's function is to maintain our roads, provide police protection, make sure that the rules and regulations of land use is enforced, and so forth. They will not engage in private business. That doesn't mean that the beach assets would be abandoned. They certainly could be back up and running one day through private entities who would put forth resources and appropriate plans, insurance, and other capabilities to operate those businesses. For instance, the pool could be back up and running if you could provide a plan, the resources, and the capabilities, and present that plan to the supervisors, who would review the plans and allow their implementation if it's appropriate. The major goals we have for the property are: one, to save the historical significance of Ligonier Beach; two, to allow the public use of the property; and three, to seek private funding for its development. At this time, we're going to have Ben Foss from the Eads Corporation come up and give us a presentation of the current findings out there and his analysis of that property and its assets. When he is finished, we're going to open the floor up to your comments. We ask that everyone's opinion be respected. We are here to seek input and ideas that we can use on that property to make our community a better place to live. So with that, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Ben. Ben?
Thank you, Larry. You stole most of my introduction, so in the interest of time, I'll keep it going. Most of the facts that we have are by word of mouth. We all have a very personal connection with Ligonier Beach. So I know there's a lot of passionate views out there, but the records have been somewhat shy. The photos that I'm showing you here, I've all found on the internet. I understand there's some at the library. But as we looked at the site, there were a lot of mysteries that popped up too. So the more that we can get from the people that were around and used the beach over the years, that would be much appreciated. Taking us to today, current conditions of the site on I think it was January 17th. We did a site evaluation, much different than how we remember it. This view of across the pool shows the majority of the buildings on site. You can see from this photo the number and extent of cracks that have left the pool very leaky. Floors haven't been done of the pool, so I don't know the exact construction of it, what would need to be done. But based on what we're seeing, what we're hearing, we would most likely take a full reconstruction of the pool. These photos, we're just going to take you around the site. We'll start at the arch and work our way around, and we'll end in the very same place. Very cool area of the property. The property itself consists of about 10 acres. The pool is an acre. This picture here, there's a small pedestrian bridge over a tributary to the Ligonier. You see the archway and then the pavilion. The pavilion's in fairly good condition relative to the rest of the property. This is what we were calling the filter building. This was a nice find for me, actually. The structure itself is not in very good condition, but this picture here is of the pipe tunnel that services the filters that filter the water in the pool. These are the filters themselves. The trough in the middle is actually a wooden trough. And each of the filters, there's 4 filters in total, each having a trough. They look to be constructed as rapid sand filters that would have taken the water from the pool and filtered it, returned it, and when it needed replenished from the source through the filters. Above the filters, it appears that there's an apartment, not in very good condition, windows are left open, roof's leaking, not much to the south. The deck off the side of the filter house, looking towards the Ligonier. I don't know if you can see it, but right upstream there is what we're calling the pump house. This. There were some pumps there. Reportedly, the source was in this vicinity. There's a pipe coming out of the ground adjacent to it that could have been a wellhead. I did not operate any valves, so I don't know that for sure. But that would have been what would take the water and send it to the filters. Around the pool, the pavilion that I remember bands being in, and then facing the other direction towards the outdoor bar. It's the bar building. This is the attic of the bar building. There's mold, windows have broken out, missing. Structure itself, for the most part up there, appears to be in fair condition. There's obviously many cosmetic issues throughout, water damage from the attic leaking through into the first floor. This is the dinner room there, dining room, and then the bar room. You can see the ceiling tiles falling out from the water damage. In the basement, there were HVAC facilities in this space. There's floor jacks supporting the first floor. First floor appears to be structurally okay. I think the floor jacks are probably in there for when the occupancy load is pretty high. But there's constantly water running through the basement. It's covered with a couple inches of dirt. The floor jacks have rusted off to the point that some of them have fallen over. And this is a picture of the joists supporting the first floor. Kind of gives you an idea of how high the flood waters would have been. Another picture in the basement with falling HVAC tubing, rotted sill plates, and then on to the bathhouse that was reconstructed following the fires and the floods in winter of 2017-18. This is the remodeled apartment on the second floor. Garage space. You're never going to see it from back there, but the flood elevation is right about there, about 2.5 feet above the floor. That would be from the 2018 floods. The masonry bathroom house, I think we found out today that that's what that was. Very cool looking building, and interesting once you really got into the bones of it. There's cracking. The structure itself, within the stone, it's 4 separate structures. There's the stone structure on the outside, and then the brick structure on the inside, and it's actually split in half. So there's 2 structures on the inside of the brick. This is a picture showing the roof structure, the concrete roof structure that's failing in the half that remains. And the other half of the bathroom, the ceiling is, and the roof has completely failed. This gives you a picture of the separate brick and stone masonry structure. And this is the gap between the 2 interior brick structures. One of the things that I didn't know was on site was a culvert taking a tributary to the low end. I think that's, I don't know if people refer to it as Brawyer Run. That's how I was referring to it. The culvert itself is undersized. You can see here there's another pipe, corrugated metal pipe, above the elevation of the stream. I have no idea where that goes. Could have been used for something, I'm not sure. But you also see these stone pillar structures at each of the head walls to the stream enclosure. That's the same tributary heading along Route 30 towards the Lohanna after it comes back out. And then it goes back underground and comes out this head wall behind the bar. And then it's opened back up again until it gets down to the small arch bridge structure. And that's emptying out into the Lohanna. But again, a very neat part of the property. There's hand-laid stone walls along Route 30 in the same area, mostly in good condition. If exposed, I think it would be a nice site amenity. And this is again the view across that same stone arch bridge through the larger stone arch. If anybody knows, there's another structure to the left. The stone arch looks like it must have been a masonry table. Ticket booth. It's completely collapsed. Could be restored. Back to the pavilion. So, most of the time when I'm giving these presentations, I'm proposing a project. I'm not proposing a project here. Everyone here is to do that. But there's always challenges to development of anything. And what would that be for this site? As you're making your presentations, everybody knows it's on Route 30. That's a PennDOT road. With the site being developed as far back as it was, with relatively little change, there may not even be an existing highway occupancy permit for the driveway accesses. With anything we do there, we would have to apply for those permits, which would then open up the potential for